they're about to go live. You jump in the recording here.
Hi everyone online, it's Davison from Orders. As you know, we connect community through culture and food, through providing same-day grocery delivery from a range of local shops like cultural shops, fishmongers, butchers and more. And today we've got a live virtual cooking session. We're doing that in association with Food for Purpose, and we're cooking an amazing Indian influenced dish today, right?
Yeah, it's called a sour dal. So it's basically like a traditional dal, but it actually has sour notes to it, sweet and sour. So the sour mainly comes from tamarind. So yeah, that's the basic part of it.
Dupe, any words?
Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome again to our session this evening. So as Davison rightly says, so it's our cultural food. But again, remember, we're wanting to adapt our cultural foods to make them healthy for us. So this is a traditional South Asian recipe that we will be, showing you how to cook today, which is traditionally called sweet and sour dal. But we're not using the sweet aspect of it, apparently, like JP said. We're not using sugar for the sweetness of it. So we're using the tamarind to give us that sweetness. But we're reducing in terms of the fat, adding more fiber, so making it much healthier for us. So that's what we'll be doing. And yes, I'm from Food for Purpose, so I'm doing it back to front, but that's fine, it's all good. I guess that's what makes it interesting. So my name is Madupe Peters, I'm from Food for Purpose, I'm a registered dietitian and also one of the directors. So it's a group of us, group of healthcare professionals and volunteers, so trained volunteers that help to make our organization what it is. And our aim as an organization is to empower and provide information to African, Caribbean, and South Asian population to make us, to help us to make informed choices regarding our food choices to make them healthy for us. So welcome again. So I would hand you over to our chef today, who is JP. And yes, we will be showing you how to cook a healthier dal, awesome dal.
Sour dal.
Sada, that's it. Sada. I knew there was something missing. Sada. So, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so basically the main part of the sour dal is your lentils. So these are a mix of char dal lentils and red split pea lentils. So the main part is you just make sure you soak them for at least 40 minutes before you attempt to cook it. Otherwise, you'll be waiting there all day, maybe a couple of hours for it to actually cook. So these will be soaking for a good couple of hours. And so basically the main parts is the lentils, you got your tamarind paste which goes in later, and this is a big part at the beginning is turmeric powder, that gives it a nice aroma to it, and then chilies. Now the chilies part is 50 grams of chilies. Depending on how spicy you like your food, you could add more if you want to. If you're brave, you could add a Scotch bonnet. I'm all for that. So would I. But today we're going to do green chilies. These are actually quite hot anyway. So, and then we're going to cut some freshly ginger.
So it doesn't need it.
Freshly ginger. And this is this and garlic are big staples in Indian cookery. So the basis of any Indian dish is always going to have fresh ingredients. So this is the basic part of it. So the turmeric, the garlic, the ginger, curry leaves as well, and from there, and also your cumin, and from there, afterwards, you're good to go. If you got everything fresh, it's better, and always give yourself at least 20 minutes beforehand to prep everything before, because it will just make everything easier as you go along, so that way you don't have to be standing by the stove the whole time. So yeah.
Okay, should we get started then?
Yeah. Wait for that. And then what's the other one? If you want to chop up.
No, I'd be happy to chop up.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, the garlic is pretty. Yeah, we're talking before we started recording. Garlic is always difficult to chop. So
Yeah.
Oops.
I don't know if anyone put some tips online on how to make garlic chopping easier. But, we don't know just yet.
There you go. So if you want to have the
Garlic.
what do you want? The garlic or the chili?
Let me do the chilies.
Okay, you can take the chilies.
Thank you. So just chopping them up like
So the
standard.
Chilies.
Alright.
And then
Do you want to get things
Do-
cooking or?
yeah, I'm gonna start putting everything in the
Yeah,
pot.
and then
You
I'll-
wanna start chop the garlic,
Yeah.
ginger.
This is called chili. Like this, just
Yeah, everything's gonna be blended. Everything's gonna be in the pot anyway. All simmer down.
So remember to wash your hands before you start cooking.
Yeah.
Very important. Hygiene is very important.
Yeah, definitely that. Like I done it before the call, before we started recording. Just saying.
Yeah. And I just washed my hands as well.
So what's everyone doing this evening? Like, drop your plans in the chat.
Yeah. And also how you would cook this for those that have cooked it before.
It's actually my first time hearing about this.
Oh,
I've
South
never heard
yeah,
of
it's a
it.
popular South Asian recipe. But obviously with the butter and then sugar.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're taking all that bit out. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So it's, I guess it's not often like cooked in this way. Is it actually called sourdough? Like,
No, sweet and sour dough it's
Okay,
called.
it's
Sweet
called
and
sweet and
sour dough,
Okay,
yeah.
this is
Sweet and
like
sour dough it's called, yeah.
the non-sweet. So do they put like sugar inside? or
Yeah,
not?
sugar. Yeah, they put sugar. There's sugar added. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So is it the tamarind paste that's really adding the sourness to this dish?
Yeah, sourness. And then we get a little bit of sugar from it as well for the rest today. So yeah.
Oh, no.
Gives us the and the tomato as well gives us a bit of the sourness as well because of the citric acid. So you get a bit of the sharpness from that dish. Yeah, that's what you.
Tamarind's like an interesting one. Like, it's not something that I have like regularly. What are like the health? Are there any benefits to it?
You get quite a lot. I tell you, in terms of, but there's no scientific evidence.
Okay, cool.
But I think in terms of when you use some flavoring and seasoning, they're good in terms of it adds more flavor to your dish in that sense. So you're then using less of the salties, spices, and seasoning, which is why, I mean, traditional African and Asian dishes, they would use quite a lot of spices and seasonings anyway. So if you use that, then there should be the need to use salt in your cooking. So more, you name it. It's a garlic, ginger, turmeric, cumin. Use as many of those spices. Yes, they do. I mean, depending on because there's so many various ones that you can put. Although we've got some evidence in terms of ginger, I guess in terms of blood pressure, there's some more body of evidence to say it helps to lower blood pressure.
So ginger's the only one that really has got like verified.
Yeah, at least we've got some evidence. To have some taste to it. I can think of at the top of my head, scientifically. Yeah, not someone's opinion in that sense.
No.
Yeah, not just someone's opinion, but what if there's any science to it? Not particularly. But you get all sorts. Obviously, I won't start repeating what you see online. Yeah. Well, I would say no. The more flavor, definitely the flavor.
Okay.
Tips.
Yes, I don't even like. I can't even describe it like how tamarind tastes. Honestly, is it? You said sour. That's that sourness.
Oh, but that's tamarind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, tamarind. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it
Yeah,
sour? Like, how would you
It's
describe the
sharp.
flavors?
Yeah.
Do you wanna-
JP, how would you describe
Do you
it?
want to have a smell of it?
Oh,
Yeah,
I think that's the best.
I think that's the best
I
way.
think
Then you
that's
can gather
you're
yourself.
absolutely right.
It's not something I've read. I don't even know if I've had it in my life.
Yeah.
That's different.
It's very different. I wouldn't know how to describe it either.
Yeah. Have we washed this up?
That's just chopped as well, probably the same as
Okay.
the same as that, and then yeah, I can start taking everything.
Okay.
Cool. So
Adding
we
everything into it.
chop the ginger and we chop the peppers.
Peppers and the garlic, and
Cool,
then
I want to-
everything just has to go in, and then basically, once you've got to this point, you just got to bring it to a boil quickly,
Yeah.
and then so the lentils are on already, and once you bring it to a boil, you simmer, bring it straight back down to a simmer.
Yeah.
So that way they can cook the lentils properly. Otherwise, it will boil, but then the lentils will cook and it'll still be rock hard in your mouth.
Okay.
And you don't want that.
Yeah, this is an interesting dish. I think this is the first dish we cooked without onions. Am I right?
Yeah,
that's
it's
actually
no
no
onions.
onions.
Yeah.
There's no onions in this.
Every dish I actually used to cook on onions. in
Okay,
general.
we've got garlic, we've got ginger this time, yeah. So
And I think the key part of it is just keep all your ingredients as fresh as possible.
Yeah.
If you can't, then fair enough. That's you can always the recipe is always able to be changed.
Yeah.
But try your best to keep everything as fresh as possible.
Okay.
That's a big part of like Indian cuisine, basically.
Okay, freshness.
The freshness of everything.
yeah.
So what led you even to like focusing on Indian cuisine?
Pardon?
What led like
Me?
Yeah.
So before I started working at my current job,
Yeah.
so after uni, I finished with my degree in chemistry, and then I found that during uni I actually enjoyed cooking a lot. I really found I thrived in it quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I ended up working for my sister's friend's husband,
Yeah.
who owns a restaurant in Mayfair. It's called BB's. It's an Indian restaurant. So while the restaurant was actually being built, I was in the development kitchen with him
Yeah.
and started to learn basically how to cook properly within like, a professional environment.
Okay. Okay.
But then basically from then till my job, it was during COVID,
Yeah.
so I was trying to figure out if this is the path I want to go down. But then after a while I realised I enjoy cooking, but not to that kind of level.
I like mass cooking.
No, it's everything is very precise.
Yeah.
Everything you do is has to be cut in a certain way
Okay.
because the dishes are a certain way.
Yeah.
He's cooking at a Michelin star level type of
Okay.
Italian way. He's really talented.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
And I always, anytime I've always like seen it, I've always told people go there and try his food. It'll give you a completely different perspective on how Indian cooking is going to be.
Yeah.
You know how Indian cooking, everyone thinks it's curries
and
and oils
yeah.
and it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's not really. When you go there, you have a completely different experience. It's really light. It tastes really good. Tastes
Yeah.
really fresh. You still get, and you can still tell it's Indian food.
Yeah.
It's just not to what everybody is kind of.
That's a typical takeaway.
Yeah, typical
The
takeaway.
garlic,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, garlic and
Cool. All right. We're moving over.
Yeah. You sure? Is it definitely on?
Yeah, it's fine.
I did check.
Just making sure.
Oh, the paste wasn't there, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So basically, everything I've added half a teaspoon of turmeric, and then you just add your lentils, your chilies, your garlic, your ginger, and then you bring that to a boil as fast as you can. So we're just going to cover a lid on that, and then once we bring it to a boil, then you just bring it straight back down to a simmer.
Yeah.
And then what we'll get on with afterwards is what we'll do something called tempering your spices. Have you heard of tempering before?
No.
So basically, tempering is where you put all your raw spices, so like your cumin,
Yeah.
your curry leaves, you can put mustard seed. You can also add mustard. This recipe is very much adjustable. You can add mustard seeds into it. So basically, what you do is you kind of cooking out the spices. You're kind of bringing them back to life.
Yeah.
So basically, you enhancing the flavour a bit more. So basically, when you get to the end, when this is basically ready, once you add your tamarind and your dry coriander and everything in there, you add these tempered spices along, and then basically it just brings more flavour into it. So when you get to a certain point, what we'll notice is that it will look ready, and it will taste nice, but you can basically enhance it more. So when you add more spices into it, add chili powder for that extra more kick. Even though there's a lot of chilies in there, you'll notice that the chili kind of gets diluted because of the water in there as well. So you add more chili powder in there, and it'll just break. No, it's stopping it. And yeah,
Cool. So we'll just wait on that.
wait on that.
How long?
So as soon as that comes up to a boil, that will be in itself about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. Cool.
And then afterwards, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So just wait between now and waiting until that comes up to a boil, and then we can basically see the texture. If it's too like liquid, you just let it reduce more, and if it's too solid and it's too like you feel like it's too what's the word? Heavy. What's the word I'm looking for? Heavy. If it looks too heavy, you can add a bit more water in it and bring it back up again. And if the lentils are a bit not fully cooked through, just add a tiny bit more water again.
Yeah.
And then just keep them going, and then
Okay,
also, I need to
And
add
chopped.
chopped tomatoes.
Cool.
I want to talk about that as well.
All right.
You have to.
Smell the
summarize.
timber
Yeah.
already.
So get
You
the
can actually smell the timber.
It's like a
Timber already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's proper strong. So like, you said you studied chemistry, so it's quite interesting that you went into cookery.
Well, if you think about it, they're quite the same.
Okay.
In terms
Oh,
of, like cooking is chemistry in a sense.
Yeah.
So, like knowing certain reactions and how meat cooks or how certain dishes cook,
Yeah.
that will come in like a big play into that. My chemistry knowledge comes into a big play into that.
Yeah.
And also, like being very methodical.
Mm.
So, like when you're in a lab, you work to like a procedure,
Yeah.
and you do everything in certain ways.
Yeah.
But in the same with cooking, you do everything in a certain way. You wouldn't add something else before something else because it might make
Yeah.
it taste completely different. Say for like chemistry, if you add something before something else, you might explode.
Yeah.
So
okay.
it's,
You put it like that.
it's basically the same thing. The same things are translatable. Not a lot of people think of it like that.
Yeah.
But once you actually, I feel like once you do chemistry, you kind of understand that everything you look around you when it comes to food, everything you feel, touch, taste,
Yeah.
that's all like a chemical reaction. That's
Yeah.
happening. So
That makes sense.
that's how it came about.
Sounds
really.
deep. It's not.
No, it's
obvious.
not.
It's not
No,
obvious.
no, it's not obvious. It's not
Yeah.
obvious to everyone. You have
Yeah.
to really think about it a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good. And you said you work in the lab earlier on. did you?
Yeah. So I work at. I will currently work at Pfizer.
Okay. Oh wow. Oh. Oh, serious.
I currently work at Pfizer.
Yeah.
So
Quite controversial.
yeah, it is very controversial.
Let's not start that.
But yeah, so and I'm volunteering here, helping because this is something I like. I enjoy cooking, so I'm very much happy to do this, and because I have somewhat of a knowledge in like Indian foods and
Yeah.
how spices work, how spices kind of work,
Yeah.
food, and about handy here.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So yeah.
Really happy to have you because most of your African Caribbean is nice to mix up a bit.
Yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, in the meantime, what we can do now is just basically get all of our spices ready for the tempering of the spices, and then also we're gonna do is make the rice.
Okay.
So with the rice, what I normally do is do 1 cup of rice for 1.25 cups of water. That's how it normally works for me. That way it's kind of just nice, and so you bring your rice up to a boil quickly, and then bring it down to a simmer, so that way it steams and it doesn't overcook and become mushy. So yeah, and then I think we can get ready with everything else.
Yes, please.
Are you gonna measure out the spices?
Yes,
That's
very
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 chemistry.
chemistry. Yeah, it is very
Just getting ahead of the spices.
curry leaves. We don't need more ginger, but we do need more garlic.
Three more guys.
Thank you. So this is what we need. Thank you. So this, we'll use the whole lot as well.
Oh, whole garlic.
Probably.
Oh, wow.
Probably, or maybe even half.
How many servings is this, like? What?
This is just this. I think this is 2. How many servings is this?
Or 4.
For 4.
Oh, okay, and that much garlic. If you put garlic, that's crazy.
we put garlic already.
Yeah, put garlic over
Yeah,
it.
put garlic already.
I'll
But
put
then
it in
probably,
another
probably use maybe 1 or 2.
Okay,
You
cool.
probably want
Pretty much the
one
whole
or
one.
2.
Because it is a lot of
Again,
garlic on
yeah.
this.
Cool, so we're gonna chop this
Chop all of
one.
these.
Alright, cool. We got 2.
Just to.
Okay.
You want to take those 2, yeah?
Oh,
Yeah,
so
just those 2.
Okay.
And basically just put it into like the basic garlic slices.
Yeah.
The best way to do it
And you crack even more.
with your palm. Then it's easier.
Okay.
Maybe my palms are just used to that.
For real. When I cracked it took a bit more time. I experienced. Yeah, JP. Cool. Alright. Do you normally chop this end bit off?
Always, yeah,
Okay,
normally.
cool. I'm just making sure it's not like I'm not doing that for no reason.
That's how my mum taught me. I always chop like that. I've always chopped there.
Am I chopping this too fine?
No, that's good.
Okay, cool.
That's fine.
Alright.
always believe that.
I'm gonna go check on the.
Do you want to raise the water or not? No.
We'll leave that for now.
All right, all chopped up.
We'll keep it for
Just a
now.
reminder as well, like the recipes on the description on the YouTube channel. If you just check get the recipe. Cool. How's it going along?
It's going along fine. It's coming up to a boil, but so as soon as you start seeing a rolling boil happen,
Yeah.
just turn down the heat straight away, put it to a simmer, and then just leave it.
Okay.
And then keep on checking on it maybe check on it in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then if it's okay, if it looks like it's going well, then just keep it going until it starts getting a bit thicker.
Okay.
And then once you get to your desired thickness, then that's when you can start adding the tamarind paste and your dry coriander and everything else like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Is it true like when you kind of press down on the ginger on the garlic, it brings out the flavour?
Yeah, that is
Okay,
okay.
cool. Yeah. That's a tip. Yeah. Press down on the garlic, brings the flavour out.
So right now everything's just a bit watery, but eventually this will come. You'll start seeing it to completely change. It will be completely thick after that. Now, what do you need? Yeah, so this is going to be for the temper, so I'm just going to pair everything up until one. This isn't the temper, this is going straight into the thing for the temper. So this is getting tempered. Spray oil. I'm using spray oil.
So we're using the spray oil instead of butter. Butter would usually be used for the tempering, but we're using the spray oil again because we're reducing the amount of fats that we're using in our cooking.
So we're going to use 1 teaspoon of jeera, which is also known as cumin. And then we'll also, I'm going to keep this separate because this is going to be separate. And then
Okay, cool.
so we also need the garlic.
Yeah. Sort it out for you.
Thank you.
Well, that was professional.
And then curry leaves, 2. I'll use about 2.
Okay, not much.
No, not a lot.
Okay.
And then what else is there? Tamarind paste I'll add once that's ready. So that's for the dal.
Yeah.
This and what else is there? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Curry.
Coriander.
Dry coriander for the tamarind.
That's what I'm trying to check as well. Oh yeah, that's true. Cumin, garlic,
Chilies.
Yeah,
Chilies.
curry leaves, yeah. Curry leaves.
Okay, that's it then.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. So those are the only things. What I might do instead then is because basically you're meant to use dried chilies. We don't have dried chilies, so what we'll do is we can use 1 fresh chili, and then we'll put that in from the beginning, so that way it really cooks down and kind of gives the effect of what dried chilies are meant to do. Because basically what you want to do, you want to release the natural oils from dry chilies, and that's how it kind of that's how tempering works. So
we use our fresh chilies.
yeah, we use one red one. Cool.
One red one.
One red one. That'll be fine. Sweet. Do you want to do that?
I'll do this.
Very
Chop
hot.
up.
I felt like it's quite nice not to do some chopping up for once. This one.
I actually enjoy it. I can't lie.
It will be very hot. It will be very hot. So just mind your, so just be careful.
How many
Well,
did you use
I've done-
earlier?
when I done it myself, I used probably the same amount, and it
How hot was it?
wasn't that hot.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that hot.
Alright, we should
So
see.
you should be fine. So I reckon
I-
people will be fine. I think we'll be fine.
Shall I put
Oh,
it in
my
there?
tongue
you
burns.
can throw it in here. That'll be fine. And then yeah, we can. What we'll do the tempering just before the dal's ready. So that way we could just as soon as the dal's done, and then this will be done, and then that way we could just add it straight in.
Okay.
So basically, what you'll do is with your spices that have been tempered,
Okay.
you once it's in the pan,
Yeah.
and once it's ready, basically immediately add it in,
Okay.
and then mix it all together,
Okay.
and then then after that it's done.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really simple dish.
okay.
It doesn't all basically half the time it is just prep,
Yeah.
and then the only bit of cooking and you have to actually keep your eye on is this, because you don't want your garlic to burn,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing that really you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Is the burning of that, and then because everything else won't burn that easy.
Okay.
If you do use mustard seeds though, they will start popping out at you. I did it earlier, and that was the first time I actually used mustard seeds, and I realized as I was cooking it, it was starting to fly out everywhere. So if you do that, just put a cover so that way you don't go everywhere with your cooker.
You probably put people off.
Don't do mustard seeds. It did taste nice.
Okay.
I like the taste of it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
So it
fine.
depends on if you want to take the risk.
If you want to take the risk of mustard seeds flying out of you,
Yeah,
then that's
bro.
fine. But that's how you learn. You learn from your mistakes.
It's true.
So you won't know otherwise.
If you were to like make sweet, because apparently it's normally sweet and sourdough.
Yeah, sweet and sour.
If you were to do like sweet and sourdough, what would you do like different?
If you were,
Yeah.
I think this is
Looking up.
So it's now come to a rolling boil,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna turn it down to a simmer.
Cool. Perfect.
So I'll take it off the heat now because it's quite hot. Davidson, do you want to smell it? Okay.
It smells really nice. So we don't need any more chicken strips.
You can smell everything coming through.
You know what? It smells like one of those soups that are really good for winter. Yeah, that's what
It's
like,
hearty.
like
It's a very hearty meal. It'll keep you warm, and then you just basically. And the good thing about this, it's completely vegan. It's vegan.
Okay.
It's not.
It's actually eating a soup or curry, when you think about it, with the just a dal on its own, is when you want to make a meal out of it, then you might have it with chapati or with rice. Traditionally would just be the dal.
Or you could have it with a roti.
Yeah, or with a roti,
Roti as well. Roti as well is good.
Yeah.
And because it's vegan as well, even though it's vegan, it actually is quite filling.
Okay.
It is quite filling. You can
Yeah.
actually have a bowl of it if you're cold indoors one day and you just warm some up, and it will just like bring a bit more life back into you, and you'll start feeling a bit warm. Because all the warm spices and everything, like it does wonders.
Yeah, it sounds like a very good dish for this cold winter time.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be good.
Everyone online, have you ever tried sweet and sourdough yourselves? If you have, drop in the
Or if
chat.
you've made any sort of dals yourself, then
Oh, so there's different types of dals.
there's different types of dals.
What are the sweet
I wouldn't be
and
able to. I wouldn't be able to name a bunch of them off my heart. But
Okay, cool.
I'll know just like traditional dals.
Yeah.
I'm Mauritian, so we have like loads of Indian influences in terms
Yeah.
of our food. So we do make dal ourselves.
Okay.
And the same in Turkey, and they make dal themselves.
Yeah.
So the ones I have is normally with same type of lentils.
Yeah.
But different way. It won't be sour.
Yeah.
It'll be more. It will be a lot more savoury, basically.
Okay.
So it's somewhat similar, but kind of not. I wouldn't have. Basically, I wouldn't have. My mum wouldn't have added the tamarind paste.
Okay.
She probably would have just kept it with everything else, just like that.
Okay, just tamarind.
Yeah, the tamarind. I think the tamarind is basically what makes it gives it that sour.
Okay, cool.
Sour note. So then that wouldn't be there.
Okay,
It would just
cool.
be completely. It'll be a lot sweeter,
Okay.
but not too sweet.
Yeah.
I don't think my mum had sugar either.
Okay.
I don't think we had sugar in it as well. So.
So do people literally add like tons of sugar into
I don't think it's tons of sugar. It'll probably maybe a couple teaspoons of sugar,
Okay.
if anything.
The recipes that I saw online.
It's
a lot heavier.
and it's ghee. They use ghee
Yeah,
as
they
well.
use
Oh, ghee.
It's ghee. I think that's the part of it that would give it that unhealthy
What's
part.
It's clarified
fat.
butter.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's butter, yeah.
Okay.
But completely different to what you would normally think butter is.
Yeah.
Okay, get it
So
in,
that's
it'll
why-
be in a tin.
That's why it's clarified butter,
Yeah.
so it's really solid,
Okay, sounds very
solid
heavy.
butter. Yeah.
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 Damage. But obviously with moderation, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. If it isn't, yeah. But ghee, I guess with ghee, it's kind of different because it's much higher in saturated fat. So we wouldn't generally recommend it. So even if you were going to use some butter to cook your dal, for example, could you use spreadable butter? And that would have lower fat content, and then of course less saturated fat content as well. So that would be fine in that sense if you wanted to. Yeah. But remember, today is demonstrating how we could make it healthier. Not that you could never use something else in your cooking if you wanted to, but just be aware of the quantity you're doing. Okay.
Could you use like flora? Would that come out? Flora.
That is unsaturated fat. So
Okay.
it's made from sunflower.
Yeah.
So something like the flour would be made from sunflower oil.
Yeah.
Which would be it's fine. But again, fat in moderation. So we
Yeah.
still want to watch the amount of fat. Yes, we want to make a switch from our saturated fat to our unsaturated fat, but think about our overall fat intake. Because obviously too much fat makes us a little bit fat. We want to think about our fat intake as a whole. But yes, monounsaturated fat will be the swap. So instead of butter, so I love butter for example, could we use an unsaturated fat spread like something made from sunflower oil or olive oil, the base spread as well. That is absolutely fine. Yeah.
If you couldn't get your hands on the 1 cow spray oil, what could you use instead? If you couldn't,
Or you could use any, you could use a vegetable oil, and you could use a vegetable oil, like we said, you could use a spreadable butter, for example, or an unsaturated fat spread. It could be a sunflower based spread or olive oil based spread, because it's more about the tempering process. You just need a little bit of fat and to keep all the ingredients and the spices together. I think I can.
Yeah, that's spice.
I can feel the spice. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
How spicy is it gonna be? Do I need to add some more tomatoes?
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Honestly, when you end up tasting it, you won't actually.
You won't have as much chili.
You won't taste the chili. You won't taste the chili as much, because if you saw, we added 1.5 liters of water for 200 grams of one of the lentils and then 200 grams of the other lentils. And 1.5 liters is quite a lot of water, as you can see. It is quite a lot. And so if you think about that amount of chili in that much water, it's going to get diluted. It will dilute a lot, but it will leave a nice little warmth in the back of your throat, basically. It won't be.
I mean, it will be good this time of the year.
Yeah, it'll be good.
you.
It'll be good for you.
It will chase away the cold.
Yeah. So I think the rice is done now.
Okay.
Yeah, the rice is done.
Okay.
This is not done yet.
Okay. We didn't think that would be done yet.
That will be a while.
Yeah.
Turn it off. That's quick for the rice.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess the heat will keep it. Yeah, but it's done. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. It is.
In the brown rice.
It is. Yes.
I cooked that for like 1 hour.
That's fine. From the heat. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Thank you. So we've got rice ready. It's just our dal we're waiting for now.
Cool. So when the dal is nearly ready, that's when we.
That's when we're going to start tempering all of the spices.
Okay.
And then once that's done, add the tamarind
Yeah.
and add the ground coriander.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, just mix everything together. And then that's it.
Wow. Yeah. Cool.
It's quite an easy dish. It's quite an easy dish.
Yeah.
It is quite easy. It just takes a lot of prep. I think that's the main part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, Ken has some good at prep experience. I saw you getting the spices ready, all done. This is ready.
Yeah, I like having everything prepared in front of me, so that way I don't have to go along afterwards and just start be like, oh, did I have this? Did I have that? So that way, it tastes the way it's meant to be.
Yeah. To be honest, I cook a similar way as well. Like before I cook, I always have to chop up everything.
Yeah.
To the side. Because I don't like doing that as I go. It's just
Yeah.
like too much.
Too much, and then there's too much mess on everywhere, and
Yeah.
I have to clean up. So I always try and do cleaning as I go along,
Yeah.
because that way it doesn't look like a pigsty.
Yeah.
And then that way it just it's good for my mind.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, I get it.
It's just good for my mind. So what's the favourite thing you like to cook at the moment?
Me, what am I cooking? The last thing I cooked was curry chicken.
Oh,
Yeah, curry chicken. Like, I've got one banging recipe. Like, it comes out really good.
Does it?
Yeah, it comes out really good. I like
Have you got
it.
your own little spin on it, or do you follow it? How
I follow it like word for word. So I tried it like a few times. I actually didn't really. I always liked curry chicken before.
Yeah.
I always preferred curry goat.
Yeah.
But this one I actually prefer like the flavors actually taste better than curry goats to me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's my favorite dish right now. Yeah. Well, I like to mix it up.
Are you quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Would you expand your horizons in terms of food and try things you've never really tried before?
Yeah.
And try things that aren't really popular amongst, I'd say, people in the West, really?
Mm.
So in terms of like different parts of like animals and stuff like that.
Yeah, to be honest, like I've always got like a habit of never going to the same restaurant twice.
Okay.
Literally, I always go to a completely different restaurant. The last restaurant I was in was a Belize
Oh really?
restaurant. That was the first time I had that food.
What kind of food was it?
It felt like, to be honest, it was different. I had like fish. I had masala fish. It felt like it had some Indian influence.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really good. But I always like try and go to a completely different restaurant,
That's good.
completely different cuisine. Like I always try to
Try
spice things up.
Try
Yeah,
something new. I think that's the beauty about food.
Yeah.
Because there's always something that you probably never had before.
Yeah,
So I feel like you should always just try something
yeah.
new.
Agreed. I'm running out of options though now. Like I've literally tried everything. I don't know which cuisine I haven't eaten just yet.
I think the next thing you would have to do is probably dive deeper into
That's
each
the-
different
yeah.
cuisine and try something that isn't as popular
Yeah.
amongst people. So maybe, like for example, not many people like chicken foot.
It just doesn't look nice though. I can't lie.
If you get past,
Yeah,
but if you
yeah.
get past the looks of it,
Yeah.
and you actually try it, it's actually not that bad. The first time I had it was from my friend's mum. She made chicken foot curry,
Okay.
and I thought I didn't know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
And when I was eating it, I asked him and I said, "What type of chicken is this? This is chicken, right?" I said, "What type of chicken is this?" And he looked at me and he said, "Chicken foot." And I said, "Oh, this is actually really nice." I can't lie. And I was really shocked, but I'm the type of person, I don't really get fazed by
Yeah.
different top parts of me. I'm very much, you can't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
So if you try it and you don't like it, then fair enough. But you never know until you actually just try it. I know people that haven't tried mushrooms and they say they don't like mushrooms.
It's true. A lot of people are actually scared. Oh, the fungus.
Mushrooms are great.
They're
Mushrooms are great.
actually really good.
They're
Yeah.
actually really good. They are great.
Yeah.
So you can't really. But people will just go off what other people say.
Yeah.
And they won't actually try it themselves.
Yeah.
Or they won't actually go out and cook it themselves.
Mm.
Because they'll probably have it in one certain way. For example, I think I was talking to my partner about this, and we were saying how when you go to a cafe and you get mushrooms, they boil them. So people wouldn't really tend to like their mushrooms there. They'll probably stay away from it.
Yeah.
But if you actually try it different and you try frying it in a pan
Yeah.
with garlic and thyme, it'll taste different.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
might actually like it.
Yeah.
But it's trying to get them to push themselves to actually go out there and try different food.
Yeah.
So I think a big part of this is actually trying, actually seeing how people are cooking a recipe
Yeah.
and actually going out and trying it yourself. So I hope loads of people go out and try this recipe itself because I think once they see, I'm pretty sure I'm showed it is quite easy.
Yeah.
It's an easy recipe to follow.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. It doesn't take that. All it is just a prep time.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, it might give them a bit more confidence to actually go out and try different recipes. Or try and add in something else for themselves.
Yeah.
And just mixing it up. Basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Chicken foot as well. That's interesting. What's like the strangest?
It's very gelatinous.
Okay. It tastes like, is it bony? I can picture like some soft bones.
Yeah,
Inside.
kind of. It is kind of. It is kind of bony, but
Yeah.
like it tastes nice to me.
Okay.
So I can't. It was a while ago when I had it. I had it a year ago. I haven't had it again since, but I'm pretty sure I would like it again.
Yeah.
Because I ate the whole plate. I didn't complain. I ate the whole plate, and it was gone. And I was not fazed by it. But I've always been I've always grown up. You kind of you eat what you're given.
Yeah.
You don't complain. But luckily, I've always loved food.
Yeah.
So I've never really the only things I won't really eat, unfortunately, tend to be some healthy stuff like celery. If I'm to be very specific, it's celery. Celery is the only one I wouldn't eat. But everything else.
Well, have you tried this before?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really see. Oh, and what's that? What are dry plums called again?
I don't even know. What are they?
They're not dates. They're prune juice.
Oh, prune juice.
Yeah, prune.
Are they prunes?
I think it's prunes.
Oh,
Yeah,
plums
it's
are
prunes.
prunes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. and I don't like prune juice.
Yeah.
That's another thing I don't like. I don't like prunes. But other than that, everything else I'll happily try it.
Okay. Cool.
I've tried some very questionable stuff before, but I'll never do it again.
How about everyone online? Is there anything questionable that you've seen recently or in your past? You want to share?
Yeah, I'll be very intrigued to see what everybody has to say.
I felt like the most what's the strange thing out here? I'm just so normal, like venison. I just had it the first time this year.
Oh, did you like it?
I love it.
You love it?
I actually love it, venison.
It is good. It's not like the typical.
Yeah. It's got some like natural flavours to it. I actually prefer it to beef.
Do you?
Yeah, I actually prefer it to beef.
It's more expensive though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is more expensive.
Venison. But I need to be more creative. Have you tried frogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've tried snails.
Okay, cool.
I've tried crocodile.
Tried crocodile.
I've tried crocodile. Tried bull. I've tried zebra.
Oh no, I think I've had bull meat. I've had bull meat, yeah. Zebra?
I've tried zebra.
Well,
I had that when I was in Kenya.
okay.
Water buffalo. Crickets.
I've had they sell crickets now in Sainsbury's.
Do they?
Yeah, they sell crickets now in Sainsbury's.
I never knew that.
Yeah, because I remember they launched it a few years back. Because apparently that's very sustainable and it provides us a lot of protein.
Yeah, it's a lot of protein in it.
So I actually tried it.
If you fry it, it's actually alright. If you fry it, it'll get really crispy.
So it's not even the flavour, it's like the crisp.
It's the crisp.
Yeah, you have to just coat it with
Yeah, it's
something.
it's just like a textural. It's just a texture basically.
Yeah.
And it's actually alright. It doesn't really taste that much. It tastes like, if anything, it probably would taste like crisps.
Yeah.
Or just like really, really crunchy crisps.
Yeah, it does.
Basically.
And it's apparently good for you and sustainable. So
Yeah. So. I don't see the harm in it. I've also tried rabbit. Yeah, I've eaten a lot.
That feels quite cynical though. I don't know. Quite a few.
Octopus.
Oh, yeah, that's the standard.
Yeah.
I think octopus is kind of.
Octopus, squid, basically anything in the sea I've pretty much eaten.
Yeah. Shark.
No, that's the only thing I haven't. Okay, cool.
One of my friends, Shark and Bake, is always telling me about it.
I feel there's some moral issues I have with shark. I feel quite bad for sharks.
Oh yeah, to be honest, there's like a bit of controversy. I've seen like a documentary, Shark Fin Soup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is one.
yeah.
They just
Cut.
they just cut. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not getting into details.
Yeah, let's not get
It's very political. Basically, if you haven't watched Seaspiracy, go watch Seaspiracy. But other than that, yeah, I'm very much eager to try different foods. So.
It's quite interesting you eat a rabbit but not a shark.
Yeah. When you say like that, it is. But I'm very happy to do that. It is simmering. It is taking a while. So right now it is quite watery. So I'm turning up the heat a bit. You don't want it boiling, by the way. You don't want. You see how there are at the moment there are little bubbles happening. You want that to happen a tiny bit more, but you don't want it to be basically a rolling boil where all the ingredients are just rolling around, because otherwise the lentils won't actually cook through and they will burst, and then it will just be mushy in your mouth.
Okay, yeah, that was the sound.
So this recipe does take time.
Okay.
It does take time, so you have to be very patient.
Yeah.
Another way, if you wanted to do this, if you're quite experienced in knowing how to use a pressure cooker, you can technically use a pressure cooker. This will be done quick. It will be done quicker.
Yeah.
The lentils will cook a lot. The lentils will cook a lot faster.
Yeah.
We'll just basically do the same process. Once you get it once the lentils are cooked in the pressure cooker and get to that certain consistency you want, then you can start adding your tamarind and then all the spices afterwards.
Okay.
So I need to leave this to get up to temp a bit more, and also to get it to. I would also recommend to put a lid on your pot. Because when you start simmering it, so that way it keeps the temperature at like a similar level when you're doing the simmering. Otherwise, if you leave the lid off, it will start cooling down, and then the simmering will turn a bit lower, and it won't actually end up simmering. It will just end up being lukewarm water, almost lukewarm water, and it will just stay like that, and it will just take even longer to basically cook. So just keep the lid on, shake it for half an hour to 45 minutes, and then that's it.
Yes, it was so like easy to chop up and everything, but it's taken so long to cook.
Yeah, it is. This is the part that is a bit longer.
Yeah.
It is just the waiting part from here.
Okay, so we're just waiting for the water.
Yeah, to basically just be soaked in by the lentils more, and then once it gets there, then I've turned up the heat more now to hopefully bring up the boil. So bring up a bit more of a boil.
Yeah.
So hopefully it just cooks a bit quicker.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Like in terms of, I remember like at the start, Aduba, you said how it's like a dish high in fiber. Is it?
Yeah, it's high fiber.
So like, what benefits come from like high fiber?
High fiber. Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry.
True. I've been coughing because of it. With fiber, it helps with our gut. So it helps us to go to toilet nicely. So it's very good for that. So it helps the good functioning of our digestive system. So fiber very good for that. So that's one of their main function really in our body. And they've got vitamins and minerals as well. So which helps our body to function very well for us. So so they're very good for that. So some vitamin K, E. So they're very rich in those. Which helps our immune system.
Yeah.
So they're very quite rich in that. So that's why they're quite good. I just thought I'd put something like, because we're not using any salt in the cooking. Some of the spices might have, but that's one thing we could use as well. So instead of the salt, could we use paprika? I've just found smoked paprika here, but it could be paprika that we could use then as well. So and we've said about the oil. So that's something, instead of using the butter, could we use a spray oil instead? Well, that's just one thing. And if someone that maybe you would use a lot of salt before, could you use less? Maybe half a teaspoon of salt instead of a whole teaspoon. It's just thinking about ways that we could cut back, because we know people from Black African Caribbean community, South Asian community as well, we've got high incidence of high blood pressure. So we're more sensitive to salt, so our body goes on to salt more, hence water, hence raised blood pressure. So trying to reduce that in our cooking and also not having it on the table helps in terms of our overall health. So that's just something that we need to be aware of.
To be honest, I've heard this kind of theory. I don't know if it's true or if it's a myth. Like some people say how pepper cancels out salt. Is that true?
No.
Have you heard that? I've
never heard that.
If you add like a teaspoon of salt and like a teaspoon of pepper, it kind of cancels out the effect of. I don't know if that's true. I've seen that somewhere before online.
No.
Is pepper good for you though?
Potato, did you say? Does potato cancel out salt? Oh, potato would cancel out the salt. No, it doesn't.
Potato cancels out salt. No.
It doesn't.
There's many myths about salt.
No, you get a lot of myth. Yeah, no. it doesn't. Or whether it's sea salt or rock salt or you name it, salt is salt. Or Himalayan salt.
I've been using that.
Yeah,
So
it
it's
is
just,
salt, because what salt does, it asks our body that it needs more fluid, because your body is then holding on to more water, and then of course the more water you're carrying, the higher, because your body is having to pump a large, your heart particularly is having to pump a large volume of fluid round, hence the rise in blood pressure.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening, because it's holding on to a lot of water.
Okay.
So the less salt, the better. And it's a tasting, because it might take up to 6 weeks for our taste bud to adjust, but it would adjust, it can adjust.
Okay.
And that's what we're saying, could we try other spices and non-salt seasoning in our cooking to help, adapt our taste, so that it tastes bland, so you don't get that blandness. Nobody wants to eat bland food. I wouldn't want to, but it's adding other things that will help to bring out the flavor. Could we have the paprika then as well?
Yeah.
So paprika is like one option. Are there any other options other than paprika?
No, all the spices that we mentioned earlier. We said about the ginger, the garlic. Is it cumin? Is it turmeric? What else am I going in this kitchen? Just looking around, just to give me all the oregano, bay leaves, coriander, you name it. The more other spices that you're adding, because you're getting flavor from those spices and those seasoning. So it then stops your body having to, because people think, salt actually ups flavor. Not necessarily. You just get that saltiness to that food. And remember, most foods would have the natural salt. Most food will have sodium in them anyway. Is it the potato or rice? You've got some sodium in those foods anyway, naturally. Because what we're now doing is whacking it up, and it just messes up with our taste buds. So we want to think about other ways that we can flavor our food to make sure that they're much healthier for us.
Because the way I kind of, when I think of salt and I put it in my dishes, like sometimes when my dishes, and I taste it and the taste don't come through, it feels like a flavor activator. Like an activate, if you know what I mean. Like when you sprinkle salt, it feels like you taste the other flavors more. Is it? Is that a myth or is that a
Taste the salt, probably, because if you're used to it, it takes a while for your body now to then adapt, particularly our taste bud. Our tongue come then, because it changes your palate. It's just like chili. Chili is a classic one. It's either you can take the heat or you can't take the heat. Exactly. Because the people, as soon as they put a little bit on the tongue, you feel, because it's a tongue, isn't it? And you feel that.
Get used to it more once you keep on
having
your tolerance goes up. So I guess the more salt you add, the tolerance goes up. So then you start thinking it's not salty at all. But then to someone else, it is actually really salty.
Absolutely,
So it does make sense.
I need to balance my palate.
So when you've got something, try and rinse out your mouth with water. It helps because it cleanses the palate. When you use water, just to cleanse out your palate. And then try again, gradually. It's about cleansing your palate. So and see if you can still taste it or not.
Cool. I want to give that a go.
It cleanses your palate, but you've got to rinse it out and then try again. Just to help with the flavor. So how are we doing with our?
It's boiling a lot more now. So hopefully it starts reducing out more. It is coming down. It is reduced. You can see where the water initially had started. It started up there, and now it's actually coming down more. So that's how you know it's actually soaking in. The lentils are actually soaking in the water more, and you can smell that smoky paprika now. That's from the paprika that I added. So it is cooking. Just got to leave it some more time. And then just always cover it to keep the temperature.
How long do you reckon it will take?
For this?
Is it like half of it or a quarter of it?
It's a quarter.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 minutes.
Okay, wow. That's
maybe
cooking up for a lifetime.
Yeah, maybe about 30. Maybe about 30 minutes.
Cool.
I think maybe we'll. Smooth, carry on.
maybe about 30 minutes until
Okay,
that's
cool.
actually ready, because there is quite a lot of water in there
Yeah.
still. And yeah, so I don't know if it's gonna actually the lentils are gonna absorb all of that in about
Okay.
30 minutes out.
So this is one like a dish. You have to have a little activity on the side.
In between,
Yeah,
just
to
wait,
give you-
just go do something else in the meantime, because you can leave it and it will just do its thing, and then you can come check it. So basically, you want to check it in like an hour. It will
Okay.
take roughly an hour
Okay.
altogether to actually be able to cook to get the lentils actually fully cooked.
Oh. 5 minutes.
So what I can do is just show how you actually temper the raw spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're doing the tempering now.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do
Got that specs, so we're going to...
So,
I think we should just continue.
So this is the garlic, the chilies, and the curry leaves. And then there's 1 teaspoon of cumin. And then you want to get your pan hot, and then you want to toast these off for about 30 seconds. And then once these have toasted for about 30 seconds, you can start adding your garlic, your chilies, and your curry leaves. And then once your curry leaves get crispy, and making sure you don't brown your garlic too much. You don't want it to go black. You want it to be just slightly like kind of like a toast colour,
I guess
basically.
we'll show them.
Yeah, we'll show it. You
Yeah.
want to get it slightly
Yeah.
toasted,
We'll show them before
and then
we
you
cook
add it
it.
in.
Okay. So, yes. 6 sprays.
This on. You want to add it?
Yep. Okay. Let's have a go. Send me one. Making sure. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. There you go.
Make sure that's hot enough. Turn the heat up more. Good way to test is to see if it's working. Just add a little bit, and you can hear if it's working. You can hear the spices cooking actually off. You can just leave that for 30 seconds on its own. Cool. You can just literally just leave it. You'll eventually start smelling the cumin actually, essentially roasting, basically. You can smell it already.
Yeah, just
And then what we'll do is start adding the chilies in. Because these aren't dried, we need to give them a bit more time.
So what is like the spices infusing into the
Spices will basically go into, they're infusing into the oil,
Yeah.
and then basically you're kind of bringing them to life again.
Yeah.
So basically you're just enhancing the flavour of
Yeah.
it a lot more. So then once you basically mix it and then add it all into here, it will just give more flavour into
Yeah.
the dal.
flavour, the smell it gets stronger.
Yeah, it's getting stronger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me just turn it
The
down.
spices coming.
Smell it, yeah.
Yeah, the spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's toasting off. And then we'll start adding everything else.
So that's the curry leaves.
Curry leaves, garlic.
Yeah.
And if you see your pan, you feel like your pan's a bit too hot, just take it off the hob. You don't need to turn the actual gas off, but just take it off the hob, and then the residual heat in the pan will actually keep it toasting the rest of it. When you cook up the garlic, because you just get rid of a bit of that raw edge of it.
Yeah.
You can see it's going a lot. It's going a lot further down now. Yeah. So it will get thicker. Go on.
Huh?
I
said that. Just so you get so top. But I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, those are done now. That's done. You can leave that on the side.
Cool.
And the tempering doesn't actually take that long.
Okay.
It doesn't take that long. So the curry leaves are actually somewhat crispy now.
Yeah.
The cumin is actually toasted, and the residual heat will actually toast the garlic off just the rest of the way. So you can actually leave it. The pan is actually quite hot.
Okay.
So you can actually leave it for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And it will just continue cooking.
Cool. Perfect.
And then once that's done, once this is done, that can just stay there, ready for this. And once it gets to good consistency and thickness, you add your tamarind. You add 2 tablespoons of tamarind paste. You add your dry coriander, and then you could add 1 tablespoon. Well, I would say you add 1 tablespoon of chili powder, hot chili powder, but then that is all to taste. You depending on how much spice you can handle. Add as much or little as you want. And then once that's mixed through a bit more, then you can start adding all your tampered spices, and then mix it through one more time, and then it's done. And then you can serve it with rice or a roti.
Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you cook, when do you add like tamarind?
As soon as it's gonna be quite watery still.
Okay, cool. Right. So when it gets more thick, you add
Yeah. When it gets thicker, then you can start adding it. But I'm pretty sure it's still watery.
Let's have a look. Yeah.
It is still watery. No, 'cause it's meant to be 1.5 liters.
I don't think we put enough of the lentils. Could have done with it more lentils. Yeah.
So because basically, if you add too much of the lentils, it would be a massive portion. 250 plus another 250. And that's like 400 grams of lentils in there. What did you actually? I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize.
Because it's swollen.
I thought it was just
That's why it's sticky.
I ended up measuring it. Again.
No, because it's already swollen. You was measuring with water. No wonder. They really are thinking, why did you?
I didn't realize he had
I was hoping to be here when you started.
I didn't realize he had pressure all of it out.
Because it will weigh more.
Yeah,
when you've got
yeah, of
water.
course.
Yeah, it will weigh more. Right.
That's why it's taking
Yeah.
longer.
You've got more water than I thought. So it's like, oh, why? I'm looking at what you've got. Yeah. Never mind. I think we'll have to. Yeah. We'll give you another few minutes, and then we'll have to. That's what I did. We just have to enjoy it like that. I'm afraid. Yeah. But I love the smell though. It's really because of all the flavors all coming together.
Yeah.
Really nice. Yes. Little sandwich. The fiber quite filling as well. It's for lentils, so it keeps us fuller for longer as well. That's one thing I didn't mention earlier.
And any other benefits to lentils?
Yeah. The fiber content. The lentils also help, particularly when you're thinking about cholesterol, because they're very rich in soluble fiber.
Yeah.
So they help to lower cholesterol as well. It's because of the soluble fiber content of it. So they help in lowering cholesterol.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's go nicely to the toilet. So the big thing though with fiber, if you having say a dish like this, you need to make sure that you're drinking plenty of fluid as well, because they do absorb water from the blood. So you need to make sure that you're drinking enough, plenty of fluid. Yeah. To help things to move along nicely in the bowel. Yeah.
There's like the fluid in the soup kind of.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
You do need extra as well. Would be enough because they do absorb. For them to move nicer, they absorb water in our gut as well. So you then need to make sure you're getting additional fluid in. Yeah, so it can work much better for you. So they have excellent properties, benefits. Okay. All right.
Sorry, JP, I think you got a question.
There is a question
Yeah.
from Jen. She's asked, can this meal be prepped and how long can you store in the fridge?
It can be prepped and you can store it for about 3 days, maybe. About 3 days. It can last a while. It can last a while, as long as you refrigerate it.
Yeah.
Then it should be fine. It should be fine.
The little thing I'll say for that, because if you're soaking your lentils, so when you then want to cook, make sure you wash it out again before you then start cooking, because of the gas release for lentils. Yes, just make sure you wash it out before you then start cooking it. Yeah, very important. Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Well, and also, Jen, if you missed out, we've got the recipe. It's in the description of the YouTube video. You just click it and you'll see like how we put this together.
So we're adding the tamarind now, 2 tablespoons of tamarind.
2 tablespoons of tamarind.
And I think we need to add 1 teaspoon of coriander.
Dry coriander.
Oh yeah, it's got a spoon. I'm looking for the spoon again. I'm like, it's got a spoon, so you just need to look for the teaspoon on that. Yeah.
Right. 1 teaspoon.
Those other spoons as well. Thank you. Oh, wow.
That spice
Then the spice.
touching your soul.
Well spiced today. That will help beat the cold.
The hot food
Obviously- go on.
technically make you beat the cold, or is it just a myth?
Hot foods.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I would not answer that. But I think it would make you feel better though.
yeah, it's true.
I think it definitely would make you feel better.
Yeah, just soup in general does help like with some of the symptoms.
At this point, it should be thicker. It should be a lot thicker, but because I didn't add enough, it's either added too much. You could either add more lentils. If it's like this still, just basically maybe take out a bit of the water, and then that should be able to help it cook a lot faster. But at this point, it should be thicker. And then when it's thicker, that's when I would have added the tamarind paste. But due to time, I've had to add the tamarind paste now. And then this should be ready as well. I've added the tamarind paste, I've added the coriander, and then you can basically add your cumin and all the other spices into it. And then just give it a mix, and then just let that boil again faster. We'll leave it on a high boil for now, and we'll just see if that can thicken up, and then once it's thickened up, then essentially it will still work the same.
Okay.
As long as it gets to that thickened texture, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Just leave that for now. We'll leave that going. And then, yeah. Well, you want to keep it a couple minutes, so they at least try and cook out a bit more.
Sure. Hopefully this soup keeps us warm. Just coming through the roof.
Yeah.
Actually, just you know the spices, you can smell it come through. It does smell a lot better now.
It does smell a lot better.
Yeah, it was nice already, but the spices they add like an extra kick to it.
It is a decent now.
Yeah.
And this one I'm just going to leave the lid off, so that way it works. Basically, once you get to this point, once it gets to that thicker consistency,
Yeah.
you could technically use like a masher and mash it. Just put a couple mashes through. You don't want it to be like a puree or you just want it basically some of the lentils to get crushed out of it.
Okay.
And so you have some of it a bit smoother, but then you have some bits which gives it a bit more texture basically.
It looks like a different dynamic of textures in your mouth.
Yeah, basically. So it won't just be consistently just smooth in the mouth basically.
Okay, cool. Makes sense. That's probably what they do in restaurants. Like if they were to prepare that in a restaurant.
They probably would do that,
Okay.
I would say. Or maybe if not in a restaurant, then definitely like a grandma might do that.
Okay, cool.
Definitely I think a grandma might do
Yeah.
that.
Jen is saying the recipe sheet, she can't see the recipe sheet attached.
Okay, I'll double check that. I'm gonna pop up, but it should be in the description. No. Alright, I'll double check.
It tastes nice.
You don't want it to be too mushy. No.
Okay.
I love the mixtures of all the different things in there.
It is spicy though.
It is spicy, see?
It is very spicy.
Spicy. Yeah. You didn't put enough. Don't believe me. I was thinking about when I came back.
But it's not crazy hot.
No, it
It's
isn't
not crazy. It's
actually.
not crazy. It's not
It's
crazy
not.
hot. It actually it subsided. And I think the initial hit is quite hot, but then after a while it doesn't sit there that long.
It's not crazy heat, yeah. Alright. Okay. Alright, we'll give you another few more minutes and then we'll have to probably review it, yeah. Yeah. I guess if people understand it, yeah, they've got the recipe description going by it, should be alright. So we can then serve the meal.
How's it going? Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. Also, Jen, I've just dropped it in the chat, so you can just click the link and yeah, you should get the recipe.
We did try it. It is a little bit spicy, but it's not like crazy.
I can handle the spice. Don't worry, no. It's not spicy. No, so we need this. It's proper cold. Yeah, it's cold. In terms of consistency, it's just like what you expect.
Expected a lot thicker, not as much water, but just a lot thicker than this. You will know, basically, you'll know the texture when you know you'll know the texture when you see it.
Yeah.
Basically, you'll know that there shouldn't be this much water. There should be a lot less.
Yeah.
It would be almost like a puree texture, but not puree, not all the way like puree.
Okay. Just a different recipe, you know? What do we call this one?
Almost sourdough.
Almost sourdough.
Almost sourdough. It is sour though. It is sour.
So maybe we'll have to change the word down.
Sweet and sour lentils.
Yeah.
Or just sour lentils.
Yeah. Alright.
This is the closest one. This is the closest one we're gonna get now.
Okay, cool. Right.
What we're gonna do, we just do it all on one plate.
Yeah, one plate. Yeah. Is that normally how it's served? How is it?
How's it normally served?
Normally in terms of like portions, what's like a good portion of rice? Like I recommended. Yeah, for weight management.
For weight management,
Yeah.
it would be a third of your plate if you're maintaining your weight. So a third of your plate should be rice, a third should be protein, a third vegetables.
Would you say that's a third?
That should be fine.
That should be
And
fine.
then if you are trying to lose weight, it'd be a quarter to be
Okay.
rice, a quarter to be your protein, so your dal or meat or whatever that was, and half of your plate to be vegetables.
So how much roughly for everybody? I'd like to know how much dal should they add? Should I add onto the plate?
Keep that.
Let's see. I'm gonna say extra also.
And with dal, it's a good source of your, veggies and your protein.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so the lentils have the protein, right?
Yeah.
it'd be your alternative, if you're vegetarian, vegan.
Oh, this is basically a vegan dish, isn't it? Yeah. I think.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
vegan.
it is a
It is
vegan.
vegan.
Yeah, vegan, yeah.
There's no meat product or anything like that. No milk, no nothing. How
Almost
much?
looks like sweet corn, like.
It almost looks like sweet
Yeah.
corn. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, looks really nice. Yeah. I guess for this, the dal would be more. If it was thicker, we'll
If it
probably
was
have a
thicker,
bit more
we'd have
dal.
Yeah, a bit more
And
dal.
more dal, and then of course some salad. We didn't have a side salad with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nice. Yeah.
Does anyone want to try it?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Thank you. I should go first.
Yeah,
Go on.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
Yes. Very spicy.
Very spicy.
We didn't even have the spot bonnet.
You didn't have to
Yeah.
Okay, good. Should I try?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me dive in. Let's take a lot of the tomato, everything. Make sure I get a good mix.
The one thing about this issue, it is really healthy for you. It is really healthy.
Can taste all the flavor.
That's its flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste like it needs salt. It tastes alright. Like,
Tastes fine.
It's not like nothing's missing. Yeah.
It tastes actually nice.
Cool. Oh, really good.
Oh, they're tasting as well, Jacob.
Good consistency as well.
I think the consistency, yeah, I would go with more beans. Lentils. But it's quite nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Good enough for colour. It's beautiful.
All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We're gonna come on camera now and gonna enjoy the rest of the sourdough. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. We've actually, in attachment to this, we've got like a meal kit in which you can get all the recipes and all the ingredients for 50%